Hello, and welcome to a new chapter of Demon's Soul. Last week Sahel was having terrible nightmare and his power were flying everywhere in the room, scaring everyone. This week we're gonna get to something a little bit different because Sahel, as you know, is growing really fast and he's getting, well, towards an age where he will have something special to do. So here we go, chapter 11. Brownie was trying to concentrate on her reading, but the signification of dreams wasn't as fascinating as she had thought it would be in the first place. She had hoped to find something about the reason why she and Sahel kept on saying the older Sahel in her dream every single night. As far as she was concerned, she had thought about something very easy in the first place, like premonitory dream or something of the kind. But our first reading about those seems to emphasize on the fact that they wouldn't appear to them directly that clearly. There would be some hidden meaning, something like some animal symbolizing bad or good action from someone else or special colors. She had read so much already, but it was all abstract and confusing. At first she was wondering who would be able to remember their dreams with so much precision. Then she had discovered that the trick was to write them down as soon as you awake. For the past few days she had been writing down everything, making it even more confusing. Her relationship with Sahel had changed a bit. They were still close, but he had suddenly decided that he was too big for cuddles. She had never heard of someone being too big for cuddles before, but Isakael had explained to her that Sahel was becoming a man. That had made her laugh quite a bit. He was still small, and had just reached her shoulders that morning. An other reaction about wanting to be a man was that Sahel had asked for his own bedroom, and had decided that it would be the quiet secret room in the second floor of the library. Brownie had been really surprised to see him take his pillow and blanket and his elephant plush, and to go alone to the library after saying good night. The library was one of the creepiest places in the house at night. She was way less surprised to see him arrive in the middle of the first night after what seemed to have been a terrible nightmare. Sahel had decided to sleep in the hammock instead until the nightmare stopped, but he had been coming down frequently due to them. And now Brownie had decided to take record of everything, and Sahel wasn't very talkative at night, but she was annoying him to get the most precise description of each dream they could get. "Can you help me?" Sahel asked, taking her out of her daydream. He was trying to get a big blue book on the shelf, and was too small to get it. Brownie couldn't hide a smile while getting up. She walked toward him. "Which one is it?" she asked. "The blue one. It's about the ether power," Sahel said. "I'm wondering why I don't have it yet." "Because you're supposed to get it when you're older," Brownie said, trying to reach the book, but she was too small as well. "Okay," she said, "let me carry you." "I'm too small." Sahel smirked as she picked him up and caught the book. "You've become so heavy," she said, bringing him down. "Tomorrow I'll be the one carrying you around," he answered, pretty proud of himself. "You're still a little cutie," she answered, laughing, putting her elbow on his shoulder. "I'm not a cutie," he said. "You'll see soon enough." He walked back to his armchair and dived into his book. "Let's go for lunch," she said, still laughing. He stood up a bit annoyed and started to walk down the stairs. She had an urge to hug him, but just followed him. Once they left the library, and the smell of the cooking meal came to them, he became a bit more talkative. "Why do I need to wait for my ether power?" he said. "That's so unfair." "Well, it was complicated enough to keep you alive while getting 4 others, so maybe they want you to be able to take care of yourself before allowing you to have that one," Brownie answered. "But I can't take care of myself," Sahel said. Except for the nightmare. The rest, I can do it all alone. Like getting the blue book earlier, Brownie said, teasing. I could have taken the ladder, he said, but I know how much you like to feel useful. She frowned and started to want to tickle him. You're such a child, he said, escaping. And you've become so boring so suddenly, she said, sighing. Since Daciana had fallen sick, he wanted even more to know everything he could about the demon world. Wow, I haven't seen you for 2 days, and you have become so handsome, Grundy exclaimed herself as soon as they entered the kitchen. If you are looking for a girlfriend in a few days, think about me, she added, winking. Sahel sighed and took his seat. You got it all wrong, Grenadine, Itomi said with a confident voice. He likes Daciana better. Who looks alike stay together, Mikala said. Sahel sighed again, taking some pasta. Viorel had been testing Sahel's enzymes reaction on Daciana's blood for a few days, and Daciana had been very impatient about it. Viorel had always been very careful with his test. The first had brought a lot of hope to the little vampire, but Viorel, still careful, had asked for more blood from Sahel a few days ago. Then, as Viorel had gone out after taking the blood to get more chemical, Daciana stayed alone in her room and started to look at the test herself, getting more and more enthusiastic. She had injected herself with one of Viorel's preparation. If Sahel hadn't forgotten a book in her room that day, she would probably have died. The demonic enzyme had started to eat the vampire cell in her blood. As Sahel entered the room, she was lying down on the floor in fetus position, with a huge amount of foam going out of her mouth, and she was visibly aging. Sahel had run to Dylan, who was fast asleep. What? He said, not even bothering opening his eyes. Daciana is sick. You have to come now, Sahel said, pulling on his arm as much as he could. The vampire pushed him away with a violent move. Who cares? She's dying, dying, Sahel continued, panicking. Vampires don't die that easily. Stop your nonsense, the vampire angrily said. She is growing up too fast. She's going to die if you don't come, Sahel said, pulling him. Growing up? Growing up? Dylan said in disbelief. Hurry, she's did something bad to herself, Sahel urged again. Dylan pushed him, making him fall on the floor and rushed to Daciana's room. He found the needle on the floor near her. Damn it! You already choose your timing well. Viorel is out, he said. Sahel had joined them. Do something! Do something! He repeated again and again. He sat on the floor, taking the little vampire's hand. I would like to, but I don't know what to do, Dylan answered, looking around for an idea. I think she took my blood, and that made her sick. Maybe yours will make her fine again, Sahel said quickly. Dylan looked at him. She can't bite in that state, he said. Sahel gave him a syringe. Dylan shook his head, like refusing the idea, but still took it. Okay, show me your arm, he said, after taking out the first syringe of blood. Sahel maintained still Daciana, shaking his body as much as he could, leaving Dylan inject the blood. It seemed to calm her a bit, but it was surely not enough. What the hell are you doing? Viorel asked, entering the room. She injected herself with some of your stuff and now she's sick. How many times did I tell you to stop bringing your lab stuff in her room? Dylan said, jumping on the vampire and pushing him violently against the wall. No time for that, Sahel said with a strident voice, as Daciana's body started to shake again. Dylan released Viorel, turning back. Viorel looked at the syringe and walked to his desk. I'm going to transfuse her with your blood, and I will need a lot of it, he said, preparing his stuff. Dylan smirked, already pulling his sleeve up. Sahel was still maintaining Daciana during the transfusion. Then, Dylan carried her naked body to her bed and covered her with a blanket. Her baby clothes had been torn apart in the process. Sahel sat near the bed, feeling guilty. Daciana had stopped growing, but was still not awakened, and he was really worried. If I was normal, she wouldn't have been in danger, he said sadly. She did it to herself. You've never seen a vampire so impatient, Dylan answered. Also, If you didn't come to find me, she wouldn't be safe now. Don't worry too much. Vampires don't die that easily, he said again with a hand on Sahel's shoulder before walking out of the room as if nothing happened. It's also my fault for leaving my stuff everywhere. I still can't believe she wanted to grow up so badly that she would do such foolish thing, Furel said, starting to clean. It didn't really make Sahel feel better. He spent the rest of the day and the part following night taking care of Daciana, waiting for her to wake up. As she opened her eyes, she instinctively jumped on Sahel, trying to bite him. Hopefully he was stronger and managed to keep her away. She tried all her vampire tricks to get him to allow her to bite him, and he would nearly have given in if Dylan hadn't entered the room, just back from hunting, at that particular moment. He seemed lightly amused by the mood in the room. "So you're awake," he said, smirking at Daciana, who threw him an angry look for being disturbing, just when she was about to get what she wanted. "You must feel so old now," he said, amused. For all answer, she showed him her fang and started to try to beat Sahel again. Unfortunately, Dylan arrived. Vala had put him back in his right mind, and he pushed her away again, and she came back in a flash, attacking him. "You look so hungry," Dylan said, putting her arm up, forcing her to look at him, and stroking his fang with his tongue. He was still carrying the smell of the blood of the night hunt. She pressed against him, smelling the delicious blood. Sahel stepped away from them. Dylan unbuttoned the collar of his shirt, presenting her his neck. She was about to bite him when he stopped her, making her furious. "Don't play with me," she said aggressively, showing her frown even more. "Maybe I will," Dylan answered, slightly amused, before turning back to Sahel. "That's not a show for kids," he said. "Good night, Sahel." Sahel didn't answer. He walked to the door, not really wanting to know what kind of games the vampire was planning. They both seemed slightly insane at that moment. He turned around to them while closing the door. He just saw Dylan embracing Daciana, who glanced at him while drinking the vampire's blood in a very disgusting way, blood leaking on Dylan's shoulder. Sahel walked down the corridor to Bronnie's room, trying to erase the image, but it took him a while to recover. Since then, he hadn't been to Daciana's room anymore, and he didn't really want to. Remembering that suddenly after Hitomi's comment, Sahel decided to add only grated cheese on his pasta and to pass on the tomato sauce. He dived in his plate, trying to forget the thought again under Bronnie's suspicious look. She always wondered what had made Sahel arrive looking so disturbed at night, but he had never wanted to talk about it. She told him that he should try to make up with Daciana if they had had an argument, but his only answer had been to dive even more in the library's book. Minho was eating his pasta very fast, putting tomato sauce everywhere on his face. "Don't eat so fast," Hitomi said, trying to take his fork away. "I'm in a hurry. I need to go practice," he said. He had been away at his friend's the day before and couldn't play the piano for the entire day. For him it was as if his life had ended. He had already spent the entire morning playing and wouldn't have come for lunch at all if Mikala and Hiroshi hadn't dragged him there by force. He didn't finish swallowing his last pasta before getting up and almost throwing his dish in the sink before running to the music room halfway of the corridor. The conversation in the kitchen suddenly stopped, as a strident cry came from the music room. They all rushed to see what happened, half expecting another of Yobi's prank, but it was far from it. They had arrived in the room. A little green creature, covered with disgusting oozing pustule, was dragging Mingho by one leg to the chimney. As Sahel approached to have a better view of the situation, two more of them jumped out of the fire, laughing heavily. Izakal promptly jumped on the creature to liberate Minho, who ran to hide behind Mikala, terrified. "Get away, you nasty angel!" one of the creatures said. His voice was sounding like a cracking of burning wood. "We're not here for you," a second said with the same cracking voice. "We're here for him," the third said, pointing at Sahel. Everybody went out of the room, leaving Izakael, Gideon, Sahel, and Bronnie alone with the three disgusting creatures. "What do you want?" Bronnie said, trying to hide Sahel from them protectively, but the little demon walked back to the front. "In 3 days would be the full moon," the first one said. Demons of his age must be presented, the second one said. To the cave. He will go and his mission receive, the third one said. What if I don't want to go? Sahel asked, with a challenging air. The three creators started to laugh. If you don't, you won't survive getting your new power, they said all together. Then they ran to the fireplace and disappeared in the fire, liberating a huge amount of purple smoke, making the people in the room cough. When the smoke dissipated, they looked at each other. Brownie was the first to break the silence. I thought the barrier was supposed to keep every undesirable guest away from the house, she said. I thought so too, Gideon said. Oh, high exactly did you put it? Brownie answered, looking at the chimney. Not high enough, apparently, Ezekiel said, having the same idea. How could I have missed that? I can't believe it, Gideon said. The top of the chimney isn't covered. Brownie sighed. You know what you have to do this afternoon? No, I guess. Sahel was still looking at the point where the little creature had disappeared, lost in deep thought. As the other walked back to the kitchen to finish their lunch, he walked to the second floor of the library, well determined to read everything he could about the ether power. Nothing! Nothing! Brownie closed an unthinked book and threw it on the table. Sahel looked up at her and sighed, closing his. Same here, he said. They were trying to find something about the mission that he was supposed to accomplish to get his ether powers. Or the place where he had to go. Or the creature who had visited them. Or if he actually really need to go there at all. Or anything that could be useful. But they didn't find anything so far. Brownie started massaging her neck, painful, from too much reading. Sahel's heart started to beat faster looking at her. Are you okay? Yeah, just a bit tired, she said. You should go to bed. I'll continue alone. It's okay, he said, looking down to take another book, pushing strange thought away. What about I get her some sandwiches? She said, smiling. I would love that. Said looked at her, all smiling. He didn't know why, but he thought that he had never felt happier before. He was looking so much alike the older Sahel from her dream at that particular instant that Brownie's heart started to race in her chest, remembering it. She turned around to avoid looking at him, pushing the disturbing thought away. I'll be back in no time, she said, walking to the door. She met Daciana in the corridor. It was a bit strange to think that she had changed so much. She was wearing leather black trousers, with boots, and a blood-red shirt. Her hair had grown a lot too. She had pulled them up in a very sexy way, with two locks framing her face. Dylan had been bringing her clothes and jewels every night since she grew up, spoiling her even more than before. She looked at Brownie from the top to bottom and bottom to top, and smirked confidently before walking past her and opening the library door, disappearing behind them. Brownie sighed and looked at her own outfit. She was wearing her old purple jogging suit, and her hair had been quickly attached with a bandana. So what? She said out loud. I just have better thing to do. She walked angrily to the kitchen, not really knowing why she was suddenly upset about everything in general. Hello, Daciana said with a caressing voice, entering the library. Sahel looked down the second floor and saw her walk up the stairs. So, that's where you've been hiding? She said, sitting on the table in front of it. Creepy. Yeah, he answered, not even bothering looking at her. She waited a bit for a reaction, but as nothing happened, she got up and walked behind him, stroking his arm slowly. What are you reading? She said, bending over his shoulder to look at the book. Boring, she said, taking the book away before Sahel had time to react. She turned few pages under the incredulous look, closed it, and threw it away. Really boring, she said. Sahel had got up facing her to get his book back. She passed her hand around his neck, licking her fang. That's such a shame that Viorel has killed me. You smell so good that I still want to bite you. Your blood must taste so sweet, she said, smiling. Sahel took her wrist and pushed her away, but she just took a step closer. Dylan is taking me hunting tonight. I was wondering if you wanted to come with us. That would be so much fun, she said softly. Sahel stepped back and took the book. I'm not interested, he said, sitting back on his armchair and starting to read again. She sat on his lap and passed her arm around his neck, again not giving up. I can stay home if you prefer. I'm sure we could get a lot of fun together, she said, smirking. Well, you can't bite me anymore, Sahel said, trying to take her arms away, remembering the time when he had seen her biting Dylan. But you can bite me. That can be as interesting. I have never been bitten before, and you could be the first one to taste my blood. It would be delicious, she continued. Brownie had come back with the sandwiches and was looking at them from behind the bookshelves. She was feeling so bad for seeing them so close to each other, and she hated herself for hiding like a rat, but she couldn't help watching. Sahel took Daciana's arm, forcing her to get up with him, and pushed her away. I'm not interested, he said. Go play with Dylan. He really likes it, and he will be waiting for you. Dylan is too old for me, she said softly, coming closer again. And I'm too young, he smirked, pushing her away again. Bruni felt a bit relieved suddenly. She wanted to run to Sahel and kick Daciana away. She walked out from behind the bookshelf. Well, if you prefer staying with her, Daciana said, with a small sound of despise in her voice, looking at Brownie. Sahel turned to look at her too, and looked at the ground quickly, a bit shameful. Daciana kissed him on the cheek, leaving a mark of her red lipstick on it, and Sahel walked away waving. Enjoy the sandwiches, she said. He stroked his cheek, taking the lipstick away. Brownie put the tray on the table, trying to act as if nothing had happened. Here you go, she said. You must be hungry. I'm so hungry that I nearly ate all the bread while making them. Sahel made her suddenly turn around and hugged her. She was so surprised that it took her a few seconds to hug him back. Thanks for making the sandwich, he said, releasing her slowly, looking away, feeling a bit awkward. That's okay. I love making sandwiches, she said, not really knowing what to say. Did you find something while I was in the kitchen? She added quickly. Not really, he said, taking a sandwich. Daciana was here and she is completely crazy. I couldn't get rid of her. I see, she said, biting in her sandwich and going back to her armchair. Sahel felt like he had said or did something wrong, but didn't know exactly what, so he decided that talking about their research would be safer. Maybe we should try to reduce the things we are looking for, he said with a full mouth. It would be better, but the problem is, we didn't find anything about anything, so that I don't know where to look exactly. So a general search seemed better for me, she answered. Sahel sighed and pushed the book away, concentrating on eating. The sandwich only. He looked like thinking for a few minutes and then looked at her. I think I should go, he said suddenly. I think we should think carefully about it, she answered. It can't be a trap. He remembered the dream he had the night before, the demon torturing the other him, and the more he thought about it, the future him had appeared in front of him, just his ugly face circling by smoke. He had big yellow eyes, with a dark thin pupil, like a slit. He had huge red horns on the upper part of his forehead. Sahel remembered that he had read somewhere that the bigger a demon horn were, the more they had done bad things. He didn't tell it to Brownie, because she was scared enough by the description. He had strange fingers, looking more like wood pieces, and very sharp. His voice was deep when he had talked to him. We are finding you. It's just a question of days now. We will soon take back what belongs to us, and your witch won't do anything to help you this time. We will find her too, and I will tear her heart out of her chest with my bare hand, and eat it while it's still beating. I will make personally sure that she see you suffer first, and that you enjoy every single second of the show. Nobody can defy me and stay unpunished. Nobody. And he laughed, disappearing in the purple smoke, making Sahel cough while awake in cold sweat. And know those creatures coming and disappearing the same way were very suspicious. But he had the feeling that he had to go no matter for two reasons. He really wanted to get his ether power because that way he was hoping to be able to help Sahel with curing people. It was then certain the ether power could have so many different manifestations, like reading people's mind or transformation. It seemed like an endless list of possibilities, and Sahel was a bit confused and wondered what he would be able to do. He looked at Brownie trying to guess what she was thinking but couldn't. The second reason was that he didn't want to have to hide his entire life. As far as he remembered, he had gone out of the ice only once, and it had been so much fun. The park and all the birds and the ducks. He really wanted to go back. He couldn't help feeling a bit jealous each time the others were talking about playing football in the park, going to the zoo or to the beach. For sure, living in his house with the big garden and all the books in the library was transporting his imagination far away when he dared to dream, but he really wanted to see the sea, to feel the sand and the water. Are you going to do some research, or do you want to go to bed now? Because I don't feel like reading if you just look so asleep in front of me. Brownie's voice took him out of his daydream. What? Oh yes, I want to finish looking at that one, he said, taking the book Daciana had taken from him earlier. He dived into the book again. Brownie sighed tiredly and did the same. Nothing, she said a few minutes later. We'd better go to bed. We will try again early tomorrow morning. A good night's sleep would maybe help us see things more clearly. She got up and put the book back on the shelves, while he was still reading. Are you coming? She said, walking past him. But he stopped her by the arm. Her heart started to beat fast again at the contact. Wait, he said. Look at that. She looked down at the book. It was showing a picture of a demonic reunion on the night of the full moon. He read the description on the following page slowly. During the night of the full moon, young demons are reunited to go through a very cruel ritual leading to the obtaining of their ether powers. Every night for a full week they have to pass tests leading to build up their mind. The luckiest one would gain their power over ether. The weakest would go insane or even die. Sounds promising, he said, turning the page. But the description was ending there. I don't want you to go, Brownie said with a scared voice. I don't seem to have much choice, he answered softly. You have. Just don't go. I was with you through the 4 others, and we managed fine. I don't see why that one should be different. Just don't go. We'll find something, just like before, she said, giving him an imploring look. I don't think we can. They said I'll die if I don't go, remember? He said. And it says here that you'll die if you go, she answered. It says that it's a possibility, he said, closing the book to take the scary picture away from his eyes. Outside is dangerous for you. You can't go, she said. I don't want to hide all my life. I want to be strong and to be able to protect myself, and that's the only way, he said. She looked away, to avoid showing him the tears in her eyes. She had heard that before. She had already said to someone not to go away, but it didn't work that time either. Why was it that the people she cared about always had to go away from her? Maybe I'll just be fine. Why can't you see that possibility? I'm not a baby anymore, you know, he said. I know, she answered, swallowing hard. She knew it better than anyone else. So what's the problem? He said. For a few seconds, she said nothing. For a few seconds, she didn't answer, But in the end she couldn't hold it any longer, and she started to yell at him. "Because I'm scared!" The tears started to run on her cheeks. He tried to come closer to her, but she pushed him away. "Because it's so easy for you to just go and die there, while I'm at home worrying and waiting for you." "Brownie, he started, but she interrupted him. "I know you don't care, so just go and leave me alone," she said, before running away, crying. Sahel wanted to run after her, but he was feeling so miserable that he didn't. What was he going to say anyway? He was wondering why he had to talk about that at that particular moment, when they had both been so tired. He opened the book back and looked at the picture again. "Cruel ritual," he muttered. "I'm scared too." He put the book down and walked to the bedroom. The light was turned off, and he didn't feel like switching it on. Brownie was turned in the opposite direction. He went to the bathroom to change and lie down on his hammock, one of his wings hanging almost to the ground. He was wondering if Brownie was already sleeping. Probably not. She was probably feeling terrible, but he didn't know what to do to make it right. Lots of strange thoughts started to run in his mind. Unable to sleep, he got up an hour later and went to sit in the living room balcony. The air of the summer was still warm, and the moon was high in the sky, making him remember that he had only 2 days left before going away to the demon world. Alright, that's all for today. I hope you enjoy, and soon we will see if Sahel is going to the demon world or not. So, well, see you next week, and bye!